you guys so much for 3,000 subscribers. This milestone would have never been possible without you guys, so once again I cannot thank you guys enough, and without further ado, let's get started with the Q&A from my Discord server. The first question is from Kos and is, what or who inspired you to make a game and why? So I think I answered this question, a similar question to this, in the 2K special, but the main inspiration for creating games, mainly Disruption, is Piggy's visibility. The game for some reason is just really cool to me, and I really just like how the game is made and such, so yeah. Second question is from Gamer. How would you rate Piggy and or Forsaken out of 10? No sugarcoat. So for me, Piggy is like an 8 out of 10 game, not including all of the other stuff outside of the game, but like I wouldn't play it in my free time since it's just not that fun of a game to play. However, making stuff for things related to the game, like fan games and stuff, is pretty fun. The times the game is pretty fun to play is whenever there's like new content and stuff like that. That's cool to check out. And as Forsaken, I would give that game a solid 8.75 out of 10. So I mean, the game is super fun to play and it's kind of addicting, but there are just a ton of people that are really good at the game and stuff, which is kind of annoying at times, but like, what's a popular game without sweats? The third question is from Mirk Flash. Out of all the games you worked on, which has been your favorite? So I've worked on a ton of games in my past almost, I think, 3 years of developing, but I think my most favorite to work on has got to be Piggy Path of Fear. And I know this may seem really biased since Flash is the owner of the game and stuff, but the game has actually been really fun to work on since I've like contributed a ton and helped out a ton with the game. But like, if I had to pick a second favorite, it's a game that I really like that I've contributed to, but I can't really say what it is since it's not in the game yet. But once it is, you guys will all know. Next question is from Electric. What made you start hosting Piggy Game Jams? So this is kind of a long story, but to make it short, one time I remembered Piggy Game Jams existed and were run by somebody else named Kat, and when I looked to see if there was any like information or news about them, she no longer used Twitter. So basically I was like, wait, what if I ran a game jam? So she gave me permission to host one with her and Sage as judges helping me out, and that's what I did with the first one being crime themed. The fifth question is from Bozapixel and is Bat Milo a replacement for Batman in the Piggy Disruption universe? Bat Milo is indeed the replacement for Batman in the Disruption universe, and this is totally canon, by the way, so use that information to what you will. Next up is Nubia, asking basically what happened to my game Piggy Tears of Time. And okay, so I'm kind of surprised nobody has really asked me this before this video, but as some of you guys know or may know, back in like March, I quote-unquote revived my really old fan game Piggy Tears of Time and said it would release before the end of May. So basically I got started on the game and posted some teasers of the build and stuff. Also, here's some more screenshots of the build since I don't know if I'm going to continue the game or not, but that was pretty much the only progress I got done, along with some of the story and this guy named Tan and the main protagonist Doggy's model. After this, I started listing the stuff to do, and I'm not gonna lie, my theory as to why I just didn't want to work on the game is because it was just a ton of work to do, and it low-key overwhelmed me. Like, I just didn't know where to start, so I just straight up abandoned it. But yeah, if this video somehow gets like 1,000 likes, then I'll bring it back again. The seventh question is from Logan and is, what's your favorite video you've ever made? So my favorite video I've ever made has to be my Piggy the Rotten Outlaw video. Even though the game is like completely dead now, and that even Disruption was supposed to collab with it but never did due to I don't remember. The video itself is a pretty fun watch and the editing was really good at the time, and yeah. Next question is from Beef Chief. Out of all your years on YouTube, which one is your favorite and why? So this is literally kind of a tough question, but it also made me realize that I've been on YouTube for almost over 3 years now, which is pretty insane, not gonna lie. But my favorite year was probably the first year. So I'm gonna reminisce a bit here, but I just remember that summer when Branch Realities came out and kind of like the overall hype and speculation around chapter 2 and stuff, and it was just like really fun making videos and like doing live streams and all that stuff. The eighth question is from Mirk Flash. What's the coolest, in your opinion, that you've ever made in studio? Okay, so the coolest thing I think I've ever made in studio, I might sound a little bit biased here since it was pretty recent, but I think the fan-made Nor Phase 1 animations that I made a few days ago were super cool. Like, I seriously don't know how I pulled off this glitchy sort of style so well and was able to finish them like relatively fast. But yeah. Next question is from Meepy. What is the future of your channel going to look like if you're making mainly tutorials, development vids, or gameplay of other games? Alright, I think the future of my channel is mainly just going to be like gameplay videos, like what I've been doing. Those type of videos are just the most fun to record and edit and stuff. But as for videos such as like development videos of my games, those will still happen whenever my games do update. I'm not so sure about tutorials though, since those might be like, I don't know, just not that fun to make. But yeah, definitely expect more gameplay videos in the future. The 10th question is from Robbie. Are there any future games you're going to work on that don't involve Piggy or aren't Piggy inspired? So at the moment, I don't really have any like future games planned that aren't Piggy related. However, if I get to participate in another game jam like I did, I think 2 summers ago, then you guys will definitely most probably see a non-related Piggy game then. And yeah, and the final question is from Zedkey and is Milo secretly the villain from the start? So Milo is sadly not the villain in Desolate Disruption. However, speaking of Desolate Disruption, since you've made it this far in the video, I have some news regarding Desolate Disruption and what's going on with the game. This is sort of going off track from the Q&A, but over the past few months, the game has been in a content drought. Behind the scenes, we've been very slowly working on the chapter 1 rework, and it is not really close to being finished yet. But to make up for the silence over the past 2 months, here are 2 map leaks of the chapter's build that are not final, by the way. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Once again, thank you guys for 3,000 subscribers, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care and goodbye.